next couple of minutes, we will have an amazing fireside chat. I know probably not in every time zone it is fireside time already, but this will be an incredible round. And let me officially introduce you to my very good friend and amazing business partner, Jeffrey Hayzlett. Jeff, please introduce yourself, and then we go from there.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, my background, I'm a former Fortune 100 CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, and I'm a CEO, board member. I serve on 14 corporate boards today, 4 publicly traded companies, 10 private companies. I've bought and sold over 250 companies in my career, about 25 billion in transaction. My last company that I was at, sales were about $187 billion in gross revenue. And and then I went on to television and media, and so I was a judge on Celebrity Apprentice for a number of years, then went from there and started a show on Bloomberg and CBS, and now I lead the C-Suite network with about 350,000 C-Suite executives. We have over 700 podcast shows, about 150 TV shows, and we're 6Xing at this time, building out a marketplace and a group of communities.
That's amazing, Jeff. Great to have you here. And we will hear more from you in a moment. But now let me also say hello to our second guest here, Charles Byrd. And Charles, when we met and since we know each other, I'm always blown away on how you figured out to connect amazing people with each other. So I'm really looking forward to the next couple of minutes and to have you and Jeff in the room. So Charles, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. For one, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm out of the San Francisco Bay Area in the Napa Valley. My specialty is helping companies scale through partnerships and having really systematic ways of building deep long-term relationships, how to always be providing value first and guiding those interactions into one or more winning outcomes very consistently. I have a whole range of ways I serve and support folks from their warm traffic to their offers, plugging them into the right groups, communities, most profitable partners, how to guide the conversations directly into the deals, all the way through the high ticket sales process. I've had 18 clients who've added 1.25 to 32 million in additional revenue. 4 clients on stage with Tony Robbins, including last month, one that just got booked on Joe Rogan as well. And beyond that, I'm raising 2 badass entrepreneurial daughters. My oldest just turned 18 and wanted to go skydiving for her birthday, so the whole family leaped from a perfectly good aircraft a couple weeks ago. And my daughter's building websites for local businesses and then going in and pitching them. The power of Lovable to throw a site together pretty quick and then go help people who have no clue how to do that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for introducing you, and it's great to have you. So let's start right to the topic. We want to talk about how we can have freedom as an entrepreneur and still grow and scale our companies. So, what does freedom mean for you? So, both of you, so Jeff and Charles, what does freedom mean for you?
Well, it depends on which hat I'm wearing, whether wearing it as an American citizen or as a business person or as a family member, or, depends on all those. But freedom to me just means the ability to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them and how I want to do them, and I think those are important distinctions. So, and for me, it's a balance between probably 5 things. Stephen Covey once said, the great author of 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. He said, you have to have friends, you have to have family, you have to have spiritual, and you have to have your business, right? Well, one of the things I would add is also the health. I think those are the things. So I want to have a good balance of those things as much as I can, although keep in mind things are much like a teeter-totter. You push on one end, it's got to give on the other. So when you have something that's 5, you really got to have a really good amount of balance on that. But one thing typically drives the other at some point. And sometimes we spend a little bit more time, especially as an entrepreneur,
Mm.
with one thing or another, and sometimes that's our business. So you have to learn to not let those things get out of whack. So I think that's what freedom means to me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and for me, similarly, it's being able to work with the kind of people and teams that you love working with, where most of the time it doesn't even feel like work because you're just interacting with the businesses and people and organizations that you're looking to serve and scale. And it's the freedom to work, location independence. Um, like actually just the last 3 days, I was at an entrepreneur event in San Diego and then met up with my family, spending a couple days at Laguna and Newport beaches. And 'cause my daughter was in a cheerleading competition and got first place, which they have every competition this season. But the point in bringing that up is making sure that the main priority stays the main priority. And for me, that's family and relationships, and having a company and a business that supports always putting them first, while interacting and hanging out with some of the coolest, most interesting people in the world, and being able to travel, contribute, connect, and build great relationships with folks in a world where you're really interacting with the best and brightest who are out doing innovative things. They're doing interesting things. People you just enjoy hanging out with, and that's called work.
Oh yeah, I totally relate with both of you. And for me, freedom became just one of my core drivers because literally the first 19 years of my entrepreneurial journey, yes, I built three successful companies, but I was forced to rebuild from scratch anyway because COVID basically destroyed within 24 hours, 19 years in the making. But bottom line is, I reminded myself why I became an entrepreneur in the first place, and it literally was, okay, I want to have the freedom. I want to build the life I enjoy. I want to have the type of life I design and not others think I should have. And I like what you, Jeff, mentioned before with these five pieces, what Kave talks about, and also the health, what you added. Um, I'm using a life wheel. I even have 8 areas, and I want all 8 areas to thrive. I want all 8 areas to grow, to scale. Of course, finance is one of that. Of course, my business is one of them. But there is my health, relationship, education, my son, my social life, and on and on and on. So why should we settle for less when we can have it all? And that's actually what my understanding of freedom and freedom entrepreneurship became over the years. Um, Talking about that, both of you built incredible businesses and have amazing careers already. What is really necessary, in your opinion, to grow and scale without losing the freedom somewhere down the road?
It's a good question. Charles, you want to take it first? Go ahead.
Yeah, so for people early on this path, or even further along, the easiest way to retain your freedom while you grow is by not trying to do everything yourself and building a team that supports you in getting those results. And it's very easy to be lured into the belief that we're the only ones that can do it. But having that belief keeps you trapped in a little jar where you're always the bottleneck. And so um, creating like strong SOPs in what you're doing, and then hiring people that you delegate to and trust to pick up and run with things, um, creates that freedom. One of my clients, Nick Morgan, that I was hanging out with last week, he's 10x'd his business, a deep part in through partnerships and speaking on other people's stages and so forth. Last time I hung out with him, he had 40 employees. Last week I hung out with him, he has 50 employees, and he's out of the day to day. He's just out speaking, building partnerships, doing the things he wants with other people running the business. So it's not only the path to scale, it's the path to freedom and engineering a business that doesn't rely on you. I haven't cracked that one quite yet myself, but uh, trying to engineer a business you could actually exit and take a few months off, and the wheels don't come off the bus. And again, that's accomplished by strong process and strong teams, like recruiting the right people and then empowering them to run with it, where you're not a bottleneck, and making it clear not everything needs to run through you, because if it does, then everything slows down pretty quick.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you very much for
I would
sharing.
add to that, Stefan, and thank you very much, Charles. I would say you got to look at yourself first. I think that's the one of the most important things to do. I think I was called when I wrote my first book. It's called The Mirror Test, and everything you need to know about your business, you mostly know by looking in the mirror. And and there's a movie line somewhere. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I think it's important for you to understand your own sense of values, what you want, and where you want to go, and then stay grounded in what are the fundamental pieces that actually do work for you in the business. I've had 87,000 employees and at one time in my career, which is amazing. But at the same time, I like 5 years ago, I had 40, 50, and now I'm down to about 12 or 14. And we're building great efficiencies and we love it. And we're a lot bigger than we are. We're 5, 6 years ago, and this year we'll grow 6x. I mean, it's amazing. So the third thing I would say next to values and being grounded is focus. And that is you're going to see a lot of things come at you, and you're going to get the shiny, object syndrome. And oh, let me look at that, especially with all the shit that's going on right now with AI about what's important and what's going to drive the things you want. And not all things are going to be built for AI. Like not all things were built for the internet. Not all things were built for mobile. Not all things were built for a lot of the innovations that we've had over the last number of decades. So focus, focus on what drives the business, I think is really critical.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even agree more. So actually, both what you said, especially on the focus, I want to give a little bit more insight. So we do a lot of coaching and mentoring with other entrepreneurs to help them grow and scale. And one of the core issues, what I see over and over and over and over again, why people do not get ahead, why they do not make progress, is they do not have the clarity and they do not have the focus. They are
Yep.
chasing every squirrel they can find. They are chasing every opportunity they can find. They are chasing every shortcut they can find. And maybe there were shortcuts in my 25-year journey as an entrepreneur, but my personal experience is every time I thought this shortcut is going to bring me faster, it was just chasing a squirrel or it was just distraction every single time. But like you mentioned, Charles, having great processes in place, getting great people on your team, growing with your team, but also implementing AI, technology innovation, leverage the shit out of AI, not to make our life harder, but get rid of these boring, repetitive tasks. Yeah. But with a strategy, with an SOP, with a process, with a clear plan in place. And that's what I experience in the coachings and mentorings that a lot of people are just missing because they are all over the place. Yeah.
Stefan, one of the things I would say,
Yeah.
I go to a lot of events. I speak as a keynote speaker all the time, hundreds of times a year. But I go to some of these events, Charles, I know you do as well. And we see the same people and lots of them. Like, dude, don't you have something better to do, like grow your company other than coming to all these events? And so now I'm not saying the events are bad, but there are some people, they make a living of just going to events. And finally, at one of the events, this guy was telling me about his company, and I said, "Well, tell me where you're at in it." And I said, "Are you doing it?" And he said, "No, no, we're setting it up. We're doing it with it." I said, "Then it's just a story." And he got mad at me, and I said, "Dude, do you have revenue? How long you been doing this?" "Oh, 2 years." where are you at? But it was like that. And so sometimes we lose that perspective of, hey, you got to do the shit. You got to get it done. You got to settle down, get in a room, or however you do your stuff. But, a lot of people forget they talk about it, but don't get to it.
Yeah.
I want to chime in on that one in relation to AI, and it's true across many realms. But with so many new things coming out so fast, it gives us the opportunity to be on the leading edge in short order. So uh, I'm sure most of you have heard of OpenClaw that came out. Um, so there's Claude, there's OpenClaw. A lot of people were a little intimidated by OpenClaw because it's a bit technical. Um, I I spent like 3 weekends hammering away, like getting familiar with it, building a few machines. And then the next mastermind I was speaking at in Tampa, they had a big breakout with 100 plus folks in there. And just because of that, I'd say small investment in learning, I was in the 90th percentile of people who knew the most of what was going on and how to use it. So
Yeah.
instead of just plowing through YouTube videos, although you should be doing that too on AI, it's rolling up your sleeves and doing it that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And so you can get this massive advantage simply by immersing yourself and not just reading about it or hearing about it or thinking that learning a few prompt tricks is the destination. It's certainly not. Pretty much anything you can think of that you want, you can build in a weekend or two. So I know I have friends that have dropped $600 million development projects that they've spent years on with dev teams and have started from scratch and finished the whole project in a couple months
Yeah.
with the tools that are out.
Yeah.
And
And
Charles, you
that's
have to, I think you have to ask yourself why you're doing it, right? I think it's a big question for a lot of people because, it's cool to do it. And are you the best person to do it? I mean, I'm
Right.
great at doing things in my company, but should I be doing those things, right? And there are the things that I'm developing for my own self is the briefing pieces, how can it read some of my email? How can it write these things for me? How can it do some of these things so I can get through to the things that are the most important? Again, what's my priorities? I have a list of priorities every day I want to get done, a list that I want to get done for the week or month or year, whatever the biggest things that are driving my business. That's what I got to be, that's what I have to be focused on. But at the same time, I don't know about you, Charles, but I was getting all these video reels that were going, hey, these are the 7 prompts that drove 195,000 followers that did this and did this and did it. You know what I did? I went out and made a list of all of them. There's about 17 of them that are going and doing this that I've seen, at least in my feeds. I pulled all of their prompts and I had somebody put it into a spreadsheet. Actually, I said, go and use this AI tool, go pull these into a spreadsheet, build out the prompts. Then we said, okay, now improve these to make them the most viral things that I could occur relevant to my market, my things that I want to. Give me the hook, give me the call to action, give me these things. What do I have to do? And boom, it fed it back, right? So again, as I would have had to spend weeks, months, years to learn those kinds of skills. And now I have it available to me. If you're really good at prompting, if you're really good at being open to it, or find a great advisor that can do it for you. And I have a person that's Lori that we're building this with, and I know what I kind of want. And then she's going through and doing it. And then she's asking me for the API keys and everything else that go talk to this guy now, not me. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing why I love AI so much because AI is literally the first technology in human history where actually the technology is teaching us or telling us immediately on how we can use it better. Because
Yeah.
recently I had a conversation with somebody from Austria, and he said, "Hey, do you know an AI course or an education where I can learn on how to prompt?" And I said, "Hey, go to whatever LLM you have on your desktop already, open it, and just type in, how can you help me? How can I use you?" teach me how to prompt. You don't need to have an education. You don't need to go to a university on how to understand and how you leverage AI. So that's what I really, really love about the technology. But also what we discussed already, that you need to have a strategy or you need to have a goal, because otherwise you can waste 30 hours a day, 8 days a week by just playing around and not going anywhere. But
Yeah.
talking about the time, and that's basically what I want to bring to the next question to the two of you. So both of you built already tremendous success in your history. Why are you still working so hard? Why just don't step back? Jeff, I know you are doing amazing things in Roatan. Why don't just be there, enjoy life, and step back? Why you still work so hard?
Because I like it. That's why. It's like I live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which most people go, where the hell is that? And I finally, they kept asking me, why are you in Sioux Falls? I said, because I can. So I think, I work because I can. I enjoy what I do. To me, I want to learn new things and I want to have fun. And by the way, the money's how we keep score. So, and by the way, let's be very clear, money helps us do a lot of things that if I were poor, I couldn't do. So I would much rather have money than not. So I like earning it. That's again, it's like to me, it's a game. It's how we keep score. But I'm also doing it inside the values that are important for me. I wouldn't do it if it weren't for the values. So, it's like even on the island, Stephan, we're building out 1,500 homes, 1,500 condos, 800 or 500 homes. And one of my sales guys said, hey, we can sell to this person. I said, do not sell to that person. He goes, why? I said, he's an asshole. And I don't even want him in our community. I don't even want him on the island. So, you got to do it inside the scope, I think, of your values of what you want to, your own personal conditions of satisfaction, and working meets mine.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
I'll mention too, like I've had 5 exit experts as clients, and a theme with people building and exiting companies, which Jeffrey, you know all about. Um, when people exit a company, they pull in, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. You can only sit on a beach so long before. I mean, these are type A driven people. I was chatting with one earlier this week who's trying to find that balance because he doesn't need to work another day in his life. But it's like my own business partner when I first met him in a mastermind group. We jumped on a call, and within a few minutes, it sort of was turning into a coaching call. And his name's Bill Barron. I'm like, Bill, I didn't jump on a call with you to get free coaching. I just wanted to get to know you. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I've exited my company. I have nothing going on. Why don't you come to my house and we'll whiteboard out your whole next year? Because like you learn all
It
of
was
these
fun.
skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learn all these skills. You want to contribute. You want to, it's like this 3D puzzle we get to work on all the time. And it is important to recharge and focus on health and fitness and take time for yourself. But otherwise, our brains need something to chew on, a way to contribute. And all these skills we've built over decades are the pathway to do that, whether it's directly in your business, advising folks, or even like coaching up and coming people to give them a leg up and pass along the knowledge you've accumulated over decades to them to save them from any silly mistakes that could be easily avoided.
Yeah. That's the interesting part, and I think that's one of the things that serial entrepreneurs or very successful entrepreneurs who are playing it a long time really need to figure out, because everybody needs to understand himself. Okay, why I'm still doing that? Why I'm still working so hard? And why not just step back and do nothing? Because at some point, even the coolest stuff gets boring, and at some point, I mean, how many more cars do you want to buy, or how many more private planes or private jets or private trips do you want to participate in? Because at some point you are just lacking the score. So whatever your score is, and I also see this for myself, and I'm way not where I know I can get financially, and I would not consider myself a rich person or a wealthy person when it comes to bank account compared to a lot of other people. But for me, it's just I created the type of life in the last couple of years that I really like and love to live. I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm exactly where I want to live. I do exactly what I want to do. I work with other entrepreneurs. I work with great guys like you, Jeff and Charles. Yeah. We talk about freedom entrepreneurship. We meet in person in October again here for the mastermind, Jeff. Yeah. And we are just
Yep.
helping other people grow and scale, have more freedom, leverage AI, and all these things. That's just things I really like doing. And that's why I don't think I will ever stop working. I mean, I have a lot of years still to come, but I don't think I will ever stop working. Um, will I stop doing certain things? Yes, of course. But that's basically just like getting out of certain roles or certain responsibilities. And that's what I did in the last couple of years and what freedom can really bring you. So to wrap this up, actually, so already you shared already so much value, both of you. So thank you really, really, really a lot. Um, when we have a lot of small business owners here, we have a lot of entrepreneurs here. When they really want to have more freedom in the next 3 months, what are the top three things they should start to focus on?
Uh, well, let's see. There's top three things. One I call the fundamentals. I have another word for it, but there's some mild profanity in the middle. And basically, it's the core things that actually make your life a lot better, and they are getting a good night's sleep, eating healthy food, working out every day, spending time with the people that light you up and you care about. Um, by always keeping the fundamentals in place, everything else goes easier. This gives you the power and energy and focus to build a business. The second thing would be relationships. Um, the fastest path to scaling is who you're hanging out with, their wisdom, their audience, their resources. And I learned that very early in the game, coming out of 15 years in the Silicon Valley. The first event I went to, which I had a low ticket productivity course as my first product back then. I didn't know paid ads. I didn't know content marketing or anything, but I knew from the first room I walked into where the guy across from me had a list of 90,000 and the guy over here was putting together these amazing groups out of New York and other places. I'm like, why don't I just go make friends with the people who already have my audience? So that relationship focus is really one of the fastest ways to scale and get freedom in the process.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, Jeff?
So, yeah, I know we're running out of time, but let me give it
Yes.
quick. And I think Charles was spot on. So let me add three different ones. One is, what problem are you solving? Be very clear about the problem that you're solving, that you're building your company around. That one, it's needed and wanted, and you can actually sell it. Number two is, what are your own personal conditions of satisfaction? You're going to have to weigh up a lot of different things as an entrepreneur and give up. You're going to push on that teeter-totter. You're going to have to give up some things and trade off some things. So you need to be able to define what those are and the values that you stand for. And third, cash. You got to be able to have the cash to be able to do the things you want and scale. So cash is king, and it's the context. It's everything. And if you don't have enough money to do the things you want to do, it makes it very difficult.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And a very, very big applause to Jeff and to Charles. Thank you so much for sharing this amount of
Thank you.
value. That was really, really incredible. And I took a bunch of notes. That's always when I look down here, I already learned so much from you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing.